Hello, everybody. Welcome back to DND404. I am your DM, Tony, and joined with me today are the other three elites in my 7th grade chemistry set. Fellas, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, starting with the very conductive, highly agitated Alec.
What's going on, guys? My name is Alec. I play Drell the AshBorn. And my favorite element is tungsten. It is the highest melting point of all metals. It's also has the highest tensile strength. And it also is almost exactly identical to the mass and weight of gold. So it's substituted for gold for a lot of stuff. Boom. What about you, Jared?
Man, put me on the spot. Armos here, checking in. I used to have one, and now I'm looking at it,
Is it fire?
I mean, that was a pretty good one. I don't know. I can't think of one. Cobalt, maybe?
Oxygen.
Let's go with that.
You did not pick Cobalt, you son of a bitch.
Nice. That's a great one.
Damn it.
That. I'll go next. I am Dan. I play Minnis PebbleWalker, your tiny little Swarmkeeper Ranger, and I am the bismuth of this podcast. It's the pretty looking one. It's all rainbowified.
What number is it on the elemental table?
I can't remember the number.
You literally looked at it. Like, what do you mean you didn't look at the number? You don't have it up in front of you.
83 on the elemental table. But you probably know it from Pepto-Bismol. It is used to treat diarrhea. That's right.
Wow.
What about heartburn and indigestion?
Oh, all those things, yeah.
Comes.
All right. Damn, maybe that should have been my favorite one. I got acid reflux, like insane.
What about our DM?
What about you, Tony?
I'm going to go with the number one ingredient and reagent for the flux capacitor, uranium. No,
Ayo.
I lied. It's not uranium, it's plutonium. My mistake.
Close.
Uranium is for bombs.
Alec.
It's Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
No, we talk about Back to the
like,
Future.
my favorite element's uranium. Jesus, man. Still, dog.
We're going to go with plutonium.
Uranium.
Now, you know the deal. Before we get into the recap, we're going to do the rundown. And today's rundown is brought to you by me. And what I'm going to run down this week, I'm going to run down Reddit. You know what? Sometimes I always look on Reddit to just see if we're being talked about. And there's the occasional comment about DND404 under, hey, does anybody know any good D&D podcasts to listen to? And when I go ahead and search DND404 on Reddit, every so often there's that one person that goes, hey, you should check out DND404. They're great. Shout out to you, random person with a screen name that I really can't say on the air. Thank you so much for supporting us and suggesting us to other people. That's my rundown this week. Now we're going to go ahead and roll for the recap, where I roll a giant rubber D4 that was eaten by my bunnies, where I am number 1, 2 is Alec, 3 is Dan, and 4 is Jared. Let's go ahead and roll it. What do you say? All right.
I really don't want to do it today. Try and get it on your desk, on your L desk.
I don't have an L desk. There's only W's in this house. But for real, I got no space to roll it on. So we're going to roll it into the hallway.
Oh, also, fun fact, tungsten's elemental letter is W. So it's a W element.
What is...
How did it get that far back?
How did you... No, well...
I don't believe you. I honestly don't believe you. I think you framed it.
I did not frame it. I didn't frame it.
We need a dice cam.
Yeah.
I have one. I missed my
You have
doorway.
a dice cam?
No, well, this cam is the dice cam. I'm just saying it missed my doorway and I hit the door frame and it bounced back at me.
Instead of closing the door. You didn't even hit the door. You hit the wall.
I hit the door frame.
Let's go in my hallway. Bang.
All right. Last episode, it started off with Drell, Armos, and Minnis looting the dragon's hoard. We received tons of gold, tons of platinum. Minnis got a cool dragon slaying arrows in a quiver. Also another potion of giant strength. Armos received a magical scroll, the maze spell, and Drell, what did he get? Oh, he got Spell of Sunburst. We're gonna find out if he can actually even use that. They decided to reboard the ship. Minnis and Armos decided to try to break into a crate and failed miserably. But at least while Minnis was remending the crate after being caught by the captain, he revealed the letters WW on the crate. Then we finally landed in Kabuki Isles, where we decided to turn it into a shopping episode. Drell bought more health potions. Minnis got a cool little statue that turns into an animal that swims. I think he also bought a bow, and he got some normal arrows, I think, if I'm correct. After going to the Drunkard Stowaway, we ended up running back into Agnar and Thost, where we sat down at a table and started to meet with a bunch of other cloaked and hidden people. After long conversations with the shipmates and these new people, the gang discovered that one of the people sitting at the table was Wilfred Wilfray, Granny Wilfray's son. And that is the recap. So Bard, go ahead, do your thing, roll that music, let's get on with it.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the world of Humbrea, featuring 3 first-time adventurers and 1 very patient DM. This is DND404. Gentlemen, boyos, we pick up session 78 at a tavern table with Captain Thnost, 2 of his crewmates, and 3 mercenary types, where the leader of the said 3 mercenaries just revealed that his name was Wilfred Wilfray, where the shipment that Captain Thnost was carrying aboard has just been delivered to, and they were celebrating. Then the 3 of you have joined in on the meal and started making merry, with some suspicious activities coming from one of them. Just to recap, one of them is in a giant full suit of armor with these glowing green eyes, hasn't spoken to you yet, and the other lad was a drow elf, much more of a free spirit. And Wilfred Wilfray is a half elf. He looks very rustic, very blue collar, ain't afraid to get his hands dirty, very rugged type of fighter. And we will pick up from the table as Captain Thnost and his crewmates take one more large sip of ale, and they slam the takers down and they go bop bop, they bang it twice on the table. And Captain Thnost bows on Fognar's head, and he goes, "Aye, lads, you 3 have a great night, and you 3 comrades, you 3 have a great night too. Thank you for sailing with us. Till the winds may join us together again." And then the 3 of them get up and walk out, as you are now left at the table with Wilfred Wilfray, his 2 companions, and the 3 of you. And it looks like they're about to get their things, but they're still joking and horsing around with each other as they're starting to settle up. What are the 3 of you doing?
Oh God, I have no idea.
Yeah, same. I don't know.
I mean, I got something reckless I could do, but I don't know how it's going to turn out.
So we're in the Kabuki Isles for
Looking for a blacksmith.
Right?
Actually, a Hydra is what we're looking for.
I'm looking for a
We're
Hydra.
trying to get to the... Hey, Wilfred.
Wilfred turns around as he's just dusting off the armored gentleman that's next to him, and he's like straightening him up because he looks a little tense. He looks back over to you and he goes, "Taller one, how can I help you? I don't think we've called each other's names."
My name's Drell, and I reach out to shake his hand. I just heard him call you Wilfred, so I just figured that was your name.
"Yes, my name's Wilfred." And he goes and he shakes your hand, and he's not as strong as you, although he looks like a strong individual, but nowhere near as strong as you. But he gives you a very firm grip, a respectable grip.
I shake his hand just a tad bit firmer than he's shaking my hand.
And you see that he gives you a nod in respect to that. "Pleasure to meet you, Drell." He goes, "These are my compatriots." He goes, "This is Zith," and he points to the drow elf. And this guy, and he looks at him and he smiles, and then you see the green flames ignite from under his mask, and he puts his arm over him. We call this guy the Dread.
The Dread, huh? It's a pretty sick nickname. How'd you get it?
How'd he get it? He looks at him, he laughs, he looks back at you, he goes, "You know, it's I feel like every time he tells this story, or the last time he was able to tell this story, he changes it up every time. Something about losing himself. Some people, a couple of cutthroats try to kill him, and a couple of healers found him just in time and restored his body the best way he could, but unfortunately they weren't able to give him his tongue back. So it's kind of like he's like my bodyguard, but he's also my friend.
Well, hey, what I was gonna ask you is, you ever heard of the town of Sanlo?
Sanlo? Yeah, it's I've heard of it. It's like he looks over and he looks at Minnis when you say that town. He goes, yeah, it's actually probably one of the most populated towns for Minotaurs.
You ever been there before? I think we got a friend over there that Minnis wants to try to reconnect with.
Yes, the long lost relative.
He looks at Dredd, and like Dredd just shrugs his shoulders, and then he looks at Zith, and Zith is has a curious face, and he goes, Zith chimes in and goes, I think we have been there before. Yeah, I mean, it might have been a few years. It's on the mainland. It's on the northern island of Kambuki. I would say it's about a few days travel from here if you're traveling on foot. I think we had a couple of contracts there, but man, we just haven't been there for some time.
Okay, so it's not like, you could show us where it is, like if we just tag along with you for a day or two.
Well, Wilfrey looks at Zith and Dredd and, well, yeah, we could. I mean, we have a thing we got to take care of in the morning.
Oh, what thing?
Yeah, I mean, you guys need help. We do things.
Oh, yeah, we're freelancers, by the way.
Oh, well, same for us. We are also a type of freelancers, good spirited. Well, we just got this thing, and well, we actually do need some muscle. How do you fare against gnolls?
I fucking hate them.
Everybody hates him, and you see them laugh, and then you hear like a metallic sound from Dredd. Like a metallic burning sound, real quick, as if it was like a chuckle.
Can I do like a Arcana check to see if he's like a person under there, or if that's like a...
Yeah, give me an Arcana check. You're like eyeing him up. You're giving me an insight check, but you're using your magical adeptness to scope him out. What'd you get?
15.
You definitely have the feeling that there's a soul in there, if that makes sense. You do sense something magical, but not in the sense that he's conjured. You can't pinpoint the magic, but you do get a warm feeling from him. On a surface level, you would probably need to do something a little more invasive to find out anything more. But at a surface level, you do know that he's not something that's like bound to anything, so to speak. But you do know there is life underneath the visor.
My mom always said that gnolls were pretty ferocious. I mean, I just heard them from crazy horror stories when I was a child.
Terrible monsters. All evil. They just eat and rip and tear and shred anything that comes in their way, and they never get full.
So when you say evil, are we like...
Evil.
Is that like general knowledge? Like they're evil?
Oh, yes. There's no such thing as a good gnoll.
That's like, okay. They're just born that way? That's like...
Born again that way if you really want to get in the nitty gritty of it.
Born again. Oh. Drell, that sounds like something you would want to fight.
Yeah, fuck it.
So Drell, you would know this. So gnolls are like universally bad. There's nobody in the world that wouldn't know what a gnoll is on some level. Even from your area, Minnis, in the Ivory Boulder clan, being in the mountains where it is, in the caves, you have probably seen a gnoll before. Minnis would probably know what a gnoll is on some level. And they know that they are very evil, mean-spirited creatures. They only live to eat. They do have a god they worship, but that god is just hell-bent on eating and causing as much chaos as possible.
I don't know if I would be able to know this just off. I guess I want to know. I want to know if there's anything special about Wilfred. Like, I obviously know if the ring his brother was giving him is an extra spell slot.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way for me to? I have something, but I want to know. Let me look into this again.
As you're looking into your stats, Wilfred looks at Minnis and Armos sizing up Dredd. He goes, I haven't called your names. Who do I have the pleasure of potentially adventuring with?
Minnis PebbleWalker. Nice to meet you, by the way. It was lovely sharing food and an ale and stuff with you.
The more the merrier. And he goes and shakes your hand.
Kind of twiddling my thumbs. Oh, yep.
And you read one?
Armos. Just Armos.
Just, all right, just Armos. And he goes and he reaches out and tries to shake your hand.
I magic hand and shake it just to prove a point.
Oh, I didn't know we had a wizard among us. Very talented.
Whoa.
Yep, he's a wizard.
Whoa.
What about you? Are you a wizard?
I dabble in magic, but I'm more of a, toss hands type of fellow.
So I have something called Know Your Enemy, and it says if you spend at least 1 minute observing or interacting with another creature outside combat, you can learn information about its capabilities compared to your own. Strength, dex, con, armor class, current HP, total class levels.
This is the smartest thing Drell's ever done right here.
Or fighter class levels, if any.
Yeah.
So technically they're not my enemy yet, but it just says creatures outside.
Yeah, creature is a universal term in the rule. So yes, he would be a creature. So you're looking at him, and you have been talking to him for long enough. You can definitely size him up to some extent.
Well, I want to do, if possible, one for him and one for the Dread.
Sure.
But I guess, do I get to pick, or are they random?
Because you've just been sitting at a table, I'm going to give you information.
Okay.
So as you were talking to him, leaning over a table, sharing some ale, you could really only see his top side up, but you do know he has an array of weapons around his hip and across his back. He's wearing chainmail. You would think that as you were talking to him and how he's moving, he might be a little hard to hit if you were to scrap with him one-on-one. Nothing that you wouldn't be able to handle, but you know for a fact he would be able to hold his own in a one-on-one. You do notice that his armor is on the lighter side, so you can assume that he's more of a dexterous fighter. You also notice that he has some tattoos in a tribal style pattern, more of an arcane sense.
More like a 90 cents.
Yeah. You do know that he's wearing some jewelry underneath his armor, and the type of chain that he's wearing is not more for decorative, more for maybe like he has an amulet under there. In the mannerisms that he speaks, he's well-rounded. He's using bigger words than a militia type would use.
Oh, he's a paladin. That's my guess.
So you do know that he is well traversed. A book isn't foreign to him, so he may be magical, whether it be a paladin. He doesn't look like a paladin. You don't see any holy relics on him.
Oh, I thought you said amulet, so that's what I was saying.
He does have an amulet on him. Yeah. And then for the Dread, he hasn't said anything. He's hiding himself behind a cloak. He looks very recluse, very shy. He was focused on Armos, specifically at the fell ogburn at his hip. That you guys noticed from last session. He seems a little more drawn back. His armor looks very dense and very heavy, as if it was made for war, protected from all sides. You feel that even if with your strongest hit against him, probably need to hit him a few good times to chunk away at his armor. Very well made and very rare. You haven't seen this style of pattern. Actually, give me a history check.
History. Not good at it, but we'll do it. Oh, that's a nat 20 though. So, but it's a 19 because I get -1. It's a nat 20 though. Yeah.
It looks very similar. Maybe the same blacksmith made it to that of the Revenger.
Saw that coming.
So this Know Your Enemy is, I get to know actual like mechanical stats.
Okay, mechanically speaking, you know Wilfred's AC is 17 with his chainmail, sizing him up from his armor. And the Dread is also 17, sizing him up from his armor.
Got it.
But you don't see any weapons on the Dread.
Got it. Okay.
If you were to fight them, if that's what you choose, then I'll give you flat numbers.
Yeah.
So as you size him up, Wilfred looks to his compatriots. He looks back at you and he goes, well, I think we can come up with a deal. If you want to help us out, it might take a few days to finish what we're doing, but we can actually pay you for your services. We do have to fight some gnolls. We are a few men down. We were thinking about tackling just us three, but you know, you can never be too safe. So how about this? We'll give you a modest sum of 7,000 gold each. And then if you find anything interesting in where we're going, you can have at it.
Oh, that's very kind of you. I think it's gonna be beneficial for us, working together. So you help us, we help you. We become best friends. That's, you know, this is the way the world works.
And he laughs and he gives you a kind smile. He's like, I agree.
Definitely excited to be partied up with this guy. And I clink on the armor with like my knuckles. Ding ding.
And you see like he quickly moves his leg away when you go to do that.
Good reflexes.
Tell you what,
I'm going to bed.
Tell you what, hey Zelda. And he yells over to the half-orc bartender. And she goes, yes, honey? And he goes, give my new friends the treatment. And you see the half-orc named Zelda come out. He goes, why don't you come ahead and you three follow me? I'll show you up to your room and get you settled in for the night. And she begins to walk upstairs in the tavern.
I follow her.
I do as well.
All right. We'll see you guys in the morning.
When are we getting out of here? Like just before sunrise or?
We like to sleep at 2 hours past sunrise.
Oh, I like these guys.
Yeah.
We're having a dance party tonight, so
What?
it's a dance party week.
What? And then the three of you go off upstairs. Zelda guides you upstairs in the tavern, takes you to your room. Opening the door, there is a beautiful yet modest suite style room, well decorated with a nice ornate fireplace as the centerpiece. She claps her hand and slips out a wand from her sleeve and uses a magical cantrip to ignite the lanterns and the fireplace, and all the flames ignite yellow and turn into a beautiful, cozy green flame. The color of the green flames really tie the room together nicely. And she guides the three of you in. She puts a stack of blankets and towels down, and you can see in the corner of the room behind one of those foldable changing doors, a nice tub to take a bath in. And it's already filled with hot water. You can see that when she casted her little magic trick, it started boiling the water as well. And she goes, well, you three have a good night and we'll see you in the morning. And then she closes the door and leaves the three of you to your nightly activities.
Huh. That was quite nice.
Armos feels like something's up. I want to do like an Arcana check to see if something else is going on here.
Sure, yeah, go ahead and roll me an Arcana check.
16.
Yeah, there is some magic going on here, but nothing that's intrusive. You don't get any type of divination magic, which is the alarming one.
Spells.
No scrying spells.
It's like an Airbnb. You know, you got to check for cameras, make sure everything's good.
You put your finger up to the
mean?
mirror to make sure there's a space in between. You do the whole kit caboodle. You check the doors, you knock on wood, and you're looking for anything magic, and sure enough, you're convinced that the spell she casted, it looks like it was a spell that she crafted herself and learned specifically to treat others with hospitality. It was like it was like a magical way to just get the room ready itself.
Got it.
Armos doesn't like it.
There are 4 beds in the room.
I take the biggest one. Dibs.
Oh, I feel like this is one of the first time. Oh, fair enough. I feel like it's one of the first times we've had a chance to just kind of like truly relax. You don't have to sleep in a wagon. We're outside. We're in Shadowfell on the ship.
I just, there's something about, I just like sleeping outside, and I'm just like trying to get comfortable in the bed. Not even, actually, no, you know what? Drell's gonna get in that hot ass bath for a little bit first.
When you go in the bath, you see Reginald is already lounging with both of his bunny arms up. It's like the top half of his body. He goes, oh, hey, Drell, water ain't so bad when it's hot as the 9 hells, It's actually not that bad. And he has a long piece of hay sticking out of his mouth.
Does it feel good? Scoot over.
Oh, great.
Just like not even phased, just like pushing him out the way.
You see that like the tip of his toes are just like bouncing through the water as he's like remaining afloat as the bubbles are keeping him afloat. See, Drell, isn't this the life? Adventuring ain't that bad,
I'm taking my armor off as I'm getting ready for bed, and I'm like, by the way, Drell, we've never talked about this, by the way. So, what Lord Baron have to talk to you about back at the Divider?
let me look at my notes real quick. I don't remember.
This is actually for Tony because he never did that moment.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me just slowly think back of it real quick and paint an image in my head.
Yeah, let me take a gander at the notes.
Oh my God.
What are you referring to?
This is like the biggest thing that you said that never got talked about. We're at the Lord Baron's Divider, and we finish up all our ordeals and talk about the things we need to do, give them all the items, and we're all leaving. And right before we leave, you're like, "Oh, Drell, I need to talk to you for a second." And that's where we ended the episode.
Oh, yes.
So something about an axe, right, or something?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So when he mentioned your axe and you wanted to upgrade your axe, you know the story of your father and how he allegedly died. He fought a giant wolf. He also told you that your father died of an illness. So some would say he was overcompensating. Some say he wanted to go out the way he wanted to go out. He wanted to go out in battle.
Yeah.
So he went to go kill a giant dire wolf that some would believe is a god. He went to go kill Fenrir, the same giant wolf that you saw in your dream all the way back in Arc 1, where you ripped out some of his paw prints. He mentioned an axe. The axe that your father used was crafted by Scoreus Stonebones, the giant that, the giant's chapel that you visited, where Alara was protecting, with the other purified Acrylis gem. He asked if it was in your possession, if somehow it made it back to your family or to your tribe, because that was a specially made weapon made to hold one of those gems, because it was crafted by one of the best blacksmiths that Humbrea has ever seen. But nobody knows where Scoreus is right now, and rightfully so, because he is a god. And then he also mentioned that you had Rint's hammer. So you have some of the components to not only craft a magical weapon, you need a blacksmith, and now you have a legendary hammer that might be able to get the job done. Rint's Ignis hammer.
Got it. Oh, just, and I grab one of the pieces of hay from Reginald's mouth and I put it in my mouth, and as I start to chew on the hay, and I'm just like, it's just like, he was asking about my dad's axe and, if I knew where it was, and, I didn't even realize that his axe was any sort of big deal, but apparently it is.
Oh, damn. Wait, is that blacksmith, still around?
I don't know. I don't even know who it is. Some Scoreus.
We're looking for a different guy, aren't we?
Gorn Bones or Stone Bones or something like that. Yeah, and then I kind of just go on to tell them the rest of what Tony kind of described.
You see Reginald takes a big bite of hay, acting as if he just smoked a cigarette. He looks at you as you're chewing on hay, be like, really hits good when your nerves are tensed up, right? And he chews more of his hay.
Your dad just traveled with a god?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. That's pretty sick. So you guys should feel lucky because, it's in my genes.
I'm kind of like your dad. I hang out with gods too. Or at least Melora. There's one god. There's one.
Yeah, that's totally almost the same thing.
I mean, you hang out with me and I have the powers of a god.
And I look at Reginald as I'm talking to Minnis where I can't see him, and I'm doing that eye, making my eyes bigger as I
Yeah, totally.
So anyways, lastly, what was that thing you wanted to tell me and Armos when we were in the tower?
Yeah, what did you want to tell them?
Honestly, I don't even remember. It was so long ago.
That happened
yesterday.
Just described as
it was 2 days ago almost, because we were on the boat and then we did shopping.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, no idea. Sorry.
You know what? I'm sure you'll figure it out.
Anyways.
Curse must have erased his memory, Armos. Drell, come back to us. And I'm slapping him in the face.
Ow, ow, ow.
Oh, no, he's fine. He's fine. We'll get your memories back someday, Drell. All right, I'm going to bed. And I just plop down on a bale of hay or something. Not even a proper bed.
Almost, are you doing anything?
I'm still investigating the room, and then kind of listening into the thing, like the people next door, just to make sure everything's all sound. It's an old technique from when we're on the road. Someone checks for traps.
You are convinced that this room is very private, especially with the magic that Zelda did when she let you enter the room.
Matt, I don't know that spell. Figure that out.
You feel it's a very comfortable room, and it's very calming and relaxing.
I don't like it.
You're convinced that there's no traps in here.
It's too quiet.
As Drell's getting into his pajamas, he kicks Minnis's bed to wake him up, and he goes,
What? And I hold up my mace of disruption. What's up? What is it? What?
"We got to talk about everything before you go to bed."
I'm so tired.
All right, listen. Wilfred definitely can't know that we got his brother arrested, okay? I feel like that's gonna make...
Oh, I forgot that happened.
Yeah.
Why did you tell him? This is the worst keeping secret right here.
No, not really, right? Because Minnis, you want him to be your friend, right? So if you tell him this information,
cool.
he's clearly not gonna want to be your friend.
Maybe my bestest friend.
Wait, do you smell this?
Like it. Huh?
Is that gaslighting? Are we gaslighting Minnis?
So if you want him to be your friend, Minnis, you can't tell him that we don't. Let's not even let him know we knew his brother, okay?
Well, but I thought friendships were built on truth.
No, see,
It doesn't sound.
that's not true.
I'm confused.
They're built on. It's like a house of cards, okay?
A house.
Yeah, and I start
cards.
to build a house of cards, and I use it as a metaphor with how fragile friendships are, and if you just
You can barely even get 3 cards on one another.
exactly, and then if something happens, where
Oh, so you're saying if I disclose this now, that's probably a touchy subject because it just happened.
exactly, yeah. So let's
So I should wait like a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or,
okay.
Who knows? Maybe they're cooler.
Hasn't it been a year since it happened?
That's true.
Yeah, in theory, yeah.
No, but does it have to be a year from meeting the person? Or has he?
But like, let's just. What I'm saying is, it doesn't have to be the first thing we tell them. So let's let's just maybe feel out this group.
Yeah, let's touch him.
I take it the Dread is definitely not somebody we're gonna want to initially mess with right now. Just talking to these guys, I figure they're not just the easy, random fighters that we've been running into. These guys are the real deal. So let's just let's just not ruin what we got going at least right now. That's all I'm trying to tell you guys.
Hey, okay, look.
Yeah.
You're not doing it right, Drell. Let me show you how to gaslight, okay? Hold on. So this is what you gotta do. See, what you gotta do is you gotta tell him something else that's really important. So, hey, you know that guy with the green eyes?
Yeah.
He really loves flowers.
He does?
Don't tell him though.
How'd you know?
Don't tell him though. You can't tell him that piece. Don't even.
What?
Because
To surprise him.
see what I'm doing, Drell? You see what? You gotta give him
Surprise him with flowers. I'm
you gotta-
writing notes furiously.
Yeah.
Surprise with flowers.
I think you're just making everything more complicated.
Exactly. It's confusing him.
Minnis, Reginald yelled, Minnis, gaslighting isn't real, okay? It's not even a thing. All right, they're just messing with you.
Yeah, honestly, the fact that you would accuse us of gaslighting you is pretty fucked up, so...
I don't even know what that word means. All I heard was this guy likes flowers. Wrote that down.
All right, so, and then, obviously, when we're on the road with them, we don't even know if we can trust these guys, so let's just...
Be careful about, talking about flowers. And I give him a real stern look.
Oh, right. Surprise.
Or
Element of
other stuff,
Element of surprise. Now, how am I going to get to sleep? Now I'm thinking about all the flower gifts I could give this dude.
See, now you get it. Now you get it. And I just fade into the darkness.
I just see your eyes from the corner of the room.
Yeah, and then I think Drell starts to get ready for bed, and I guess kind of just continues to talk about the importance of keeping an eye out on these people because we don't really like know them all that well yet.
I do wake him up an hour later for the weekly Sid dance party.
I'm sorry, what is this? What are you waking me up for?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as Drell lays in bed, because Minnis brought it up, I guess Drell really starts to think about, because Drell hasn't really had a lot of time to himself in general since everything, especially Shadowfell and seeing like the dragon and talking to some random dragon in his dreams or his thoughts, I guess, technically. So I guess he's kind of just taking all this in, and he's just thinking about now his dad and the dire wolf and the dragon, and there's just like a lot going on with Drell, I guess, at this time. So he's just kind of...
That's a great point, Drell. And as the night goes on and you fall asleep thinking about these thoughts, you find yourself in one of these dream states, a very vivid dream, very lucid. And you think about Edgar, the dragon of rage, where you gain your bestial powers from. And he doesn't speak to you, but you do imagine his scarred, broken face in this pitch black area. Then you think about your father's axe, and you think about the wolf that you saw in your dream and the patch of wolf fur that you were able to manifest somehow when you fell asleep. Very uneasy dreams come to mind at night, and you feel like it's one of those dreams where you feel like you're fighting, but your punches just don't hit as hard. And there's no particular dream that stands out, but you do wake up in the middle of the night with chills. Not that you're cold, it is cold in the room. You wake up and your mouth is very dry. You look at your pillow, and you look at the sheets on the bed, and there's dried up blood, and it's on your palm of your hand, but it's not red, it's more black and purple, and you feel it dried up on your mouth, like you just threw up, but you know it's blood. And the room is a little cold, and you look over to the fireplace, and there's barely but a spark left. Then you notice that the window's open, and you're very hazy, and then you see Armos sleeping, and then Reginald is sleeping on Armos' face across his eyes, and they're both snoring. And then you hear that whoosh from the window again. And then you look over at Minnis, and Minnis has a big old snot bubble coming out of his nose, and then you feel the heat again. And you look back at the fireplace, and all of a sudden it's roaring again. The green flame like roars as if it was just reignited for a moment, and that goes back to normal. And now you look down, and you have this blood, just dried up blood on you. It looks like you coughed up a good amount.
Well, I'm gonna wipe it away and I guess go into the bathroom and clean up so no one really else sees it.
Yeah, you go over to the hot bath, and there's still some water in there, and you're able to take some, put it over the flame. Give me a perception check.
Fuck, it's an 8.
You're like staring at the flames as you're heating up the water to clean yourself up. And you get lost in your own thoughts, and you're just admiring the flames, and then you go back to what you're doing and you clean yourself up. And then you go back to bed. Unless there's something specific that you would like to do.
Can I go over to the window and like stare into the abyss outside?
Yeah, you look outside and you see the beautiful mountain range of the Kambuki Isles. With how high up you are, you see all these beautiful green luscious palm trees and the beautiful night sky. And then way in the distance, you even see the mountain range of the northern island, which is the main island of Kambuki, where Sanlo is located. And right in the center, you do see this large floating island, as if it lifted from the island and is now in the middle of the sky, almost acting as the centerpiece. Very beautiful sight. Clearly magical. Looks like a floating island in the sky and a large chunk of earth underneath it.
So it's like a bunch of stalactites hanging from it.
Yes.
But this is obviously, like, we saw this when we came in, right?
Yes.
Like, that's just a normal part. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Drell shuts the window and he goes back to bed.
Okay. And the three of you wake up the next morning.
Oh, Sid. That was the wildest dance party we've had.
Sid has like that glowy necklace. It's just like faded out.
Does he have the gloves that also light up?
You see that? He like when he rolls out of bed, he lands on a bunch of glow sticks.
When did you make friends with those twig blights? Oh my goodness.
You see they get up and they hop out, all the sticks. They all have deep voices.
Good morning, everybody. I'm gonna go down. Give myself some.
5 more hours, Armos. I think we got another 5 in us.
No. Getting up.
Just where we're in a comfy bed. As he sleeps on your face.
I go downstairs after changing, obviously, into my gear.
Drell looks at his face and his hands to make sure he didn't cough up any more blood while he's...
No, everything looks copacetic.
Nice. Then I think Drell kind of just gets ready for the day and goes down to join everybody for breakfast as well.
I mage hand Reginald across the room, off my face.
It's just upside down.
Yeah. And then get up, put on my gear, do a quick stretch, and then splash some water on my face as I walk out the door.
Minnis, give me a perception check as you are putting on your gear.
Forgot about my dice.
Jesus, what kind of perception check was that?
There's a big one, okay? That is a 15.
You're like packing your stuff up and you look at your journal and you notice that there's a singe mark at the corner of one of the pages. Specifically, the page that says he likes flowers.
That's odd.
Huh. What is?
Well, look at my... Wait, hold on. I like cover up part of my journal.
Just look at this one. Don't flip the page.
Yeah, I show him just that piece.
Hey, wait, what's behind this page? What are all those pictures you drew?
Well, I'll show you another time. Now's not the time. Look at this singe mark. The burnt? I don't know. It's weird. It's singed like on the note.
Like at the corner of the page? Very subtly, very subtle, very light singe.
I don't like what's going on here.
I read a whole other journal entry page. With a drawing of the singe mark on the other page. And what happened?
I think I know what happened here. Fire ants.
I'm gonna get breakfast. Walk downstairs.
Breakfast sounds great. And the 3 of you go downstairs. And sure enough, you guys slept in a little bit. Everybody gets 10 temporary hit points for sleeping so comfortably in a nice room.
Finally.
Go downstairs, you see the Dread, you see Wilfred, and you see Zith. 3 of them are eating, but they're hunched over the table and they're like drawing up a plan. And then you see the 3 of you come down the stairs and they welcome you over. And there's already a breakfast buffet already laid out for the 6 of you to eat. And you see that as the 3 of you go over and take a seat, Hilda, the goblin barmaid, pours you a couple of drinks.
What are the drinks?
It's actually ale.
Perfect.
Okay.
Surprisingly enough.
A
little breakfast ale for you. And the goblin barmaid gives you a couple of tankards of breakfast ale.
Do you have any coffee?
Coffee?
No, this is perfect.
Okay.
Decaf ale. Yeah, we got it. And then she goes over and she gets some coffee for you and brings it over.
I slide
Thank you, and I push mine over to Drell.
Yeah, exactly. I just get water.
Yeah. Oh, Sid, we shouldn't have jumped out the window. That was a bad idea.
Wilfred turns his attention, be like, "Lads, we're glad you joined us. We kind of have a little bit of a trek ahead of us. Not because it's far away, it's just the jungle can be tricky to navigate. A lot of hills. The road isn't as clear cut. Very, very mountainous kind of area and a lot of bushes. It gets very hot once you're in the jungle. It's not like the island breeze that we have here in the tavern. It gets very, very, very moist. So I would suggest traveling light.
What does that mean, light? Like,
dress comfortable.
Huh?
You're gonna sweat.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe put your little mohawk up in a bun, you know?
I never thought to do that.
Oh. Get whatever breeze you can. Make sure you pack some extra water. And he waves you over to like look at the sheet of paper, and he has a map. It's a rough map of the area, and where he's going is north. He goes from the Armos ports. If we go north, it'll be a few hours to get us there as we just traverse through the jungle. We're probably going to see some gnolls. As a matter of fact, we are kind of going in their home, and we do have some heavy luggage we need to carry. And you see that on the side of the table is that box, the shipment, that large gem. You see that it's now in another box, and the box itself has like straps on as if you can use it, as if two people could carry it, or perhaps even strap it to someone's back if they're able to hold it. And he goes, we need to get this package. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We're going to a tomb, and this tomb, gnolls occupy. And within the tomb, this gem unlocks a secret door, and beyond that door is to put it so bluntly, a legendary artifact.
What kind of legendary artifact?
There's a lot of stories for it. We think it's something to tribute to the Gnoll god, Yanagu. Some say it's like an item that Yanagu left behind that the Gnolls worship. Perhaps it's the source of the reason why the Gnolls are here. So if we get rid of it, maybe the Gnolls could go away. That's just a side bonus of taking the item. But we do know it's very valuable, and we can sell it for a good amount of money, and sell it to the right person. You see, the method we got the key that you see here wasn't exactly on the up and up. We did have to kind of take it from somebody, but the person we took it from isn't on the up and up. So we're really doing the world a favor here.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess, you said we were going to get paid. Is that like half up front, half when it's done, or do you have to sell this to pay us, or how does this work?
No, once the job is done, we'll give you each 7,000, and then whatever trinkets or baubles you get in the tomb, we're sure there's some. Gnolls tend to just eat and then, discard whatever is left on the bodies, and well, we're sure there's a couple of maybe some cool weapons or some gold lingering around in there that could be added to the pot to make it a little bit sweeter.
I bet.
We're not worried about that. We're worried about what's behind this secret door, and he does air quotes.
Cool, sounds good.
Is the Dread sitting at the table with us?
He is, and the Dread is looking at the paper and looking at you like a normal conversation.
Has he eaten?
He has not.
Morning, Dread. The Dread? Thread.
You see that he gives you a wave.
Oh, hi. So, who made your armor? It looks really cool.
His green eyes leer at you.
I look back. Then I look to Wilfred. So, does he have a smith he goes to, or has he always been like this?
Ever since the incident, he's always been like that. But he hasn't told us because he can't speak.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to adventure with y'all today. It should be a fun time. It should be good exercise. I'm sure Drell will have a fun time, at the very least. And I continue to eat my breakfast and chug down my coffee.
Well, friends, there will be combat for sure. Probably on the way there, and a lot of combat probably inside the tomb. So, be ready. But they're just gnolls, right? You can handle a couple of gnolls, right? You dragon slayers, am I right? And he elbows you guys from the story last night.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to kill some gnolls. Let's rock and roll.
So the six of you head out. As you see Wolfray, he rolls up the mat, stuffs it in his little front pouch that he has, and you see the Dread walk over to the box, and it looks like he's doing the heavy lifting, and he picks it up and places it on his back like a backpack. The box itself is almost the size of him. He's standing at almost 6 feet tall, and the box itself is just off the ground, like just a little bit, and you see that he's carrying it with ease. As you head out of the Armos ports, from the cool sea breeze and warm weather, you start to walk down a very covered up trail with all these palm trees and giant leaves overhanging the pathway, and on either side of you is very dense forest.
And I think just for mechanics sake, because I don't know how this is going to go, Drell is using his unarmored defense, and he put his armor in Minnis's cart.
Sure. So, this is just like this what you see at the table, the map, is just kind of like a basic kind of theme that's going on. Doesn't necessarily mean anything. You don't have to pay too much attention to it. Yeah, not that it's a battle map or anything. But you see you have to traverse through the jungle, and as you're traveling down this road, you do hear the sounds of water as there is a large river that cuts through the jungle that leads into the ocean. And you hear the sounds of beautiful waterfalls in the distance, and the further you get away from the Armor ports, the sounds of nature just overtake you. And occasionally as you're traveling down this dirt path, you do hear sounds of like giant footsteps in the distance, and you hear the rustling of trees, screeches of animals, and very hefty roars deep in the distance. There's animals all around you hiding in the thicket of the trees and the bushes. The 6 of you walk. Is there any particular way that the 3 of you would like to walk?
I would like to walk last. I want to be the caboose
I'm in the middle.
of the 6 of us.
I'm ready.
There are 6 of us.
Wilfred Wilfray is definitely in the lead. Then it's Armos, and then Zith behind Armos, with Drell and Minnis in the back, in between. As the 6 of you travel down, and the path from the thicket like instantly gets super humid, very hot. The 6 of you like instantly sweat as you're traveling. After an hour of walking, you finally come across that there's a river along your right side, and you look down, there's like a steep cliff as you begin to ascend this mountainous jungle. In the distance, you do see a rickety rope bridge that extends from one mountain to the other over the river that you're about to walk over. And Wilfray turns to the back of you and goes, "Hi lads, one at a time, and not really sure how much weight this bridge can hold, and we got a lot of it, so let's be cautious here."
All right. Do you want me to go first? I'll test it. I'm pretty light, so I figure I should go.
And you see that like Wilfray like looks at his map, and then he looks at you and goes, "Yeah, you know, if you'd like to scout ahead, you absolutely could. Huh?
All
Go
right.
check it out. Go check it out."
I look forward. I kind of tap my hoof on the first plank. I kind of shake the railing, testing out the structural integrity of this bridge.
It's just a rope railing. You have to like hold yourself as you cross to
Yeah,
maintain
yeah.
your balance. The river below is about 80 feet.
So I'll go first. I'm just like, all right, Sid, just be ready to float. I'm going one at a time. Everything's great, guys. This is fine. Everything's fine. I'll just walk across gingerly.
You step across the bridge and you walk, and the bridge itself is about 60 feet. You walk. Then snap! One of the floorboards break, but you catch yourself. You go, and then you safely make it to the other side.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm not afraid of heights, but I am afraid of water. I look down. Oh, kind of shallow anyways. Probably would have just died. Look at Sid.
You turn around, and in this thicket of thick bushes and trees that you can't see, it's just a wall of foliage. You see some rustling, and you hear large groan, and that's a heavy, slow chomping. And then high above the tree line, something raises. You see, raising its head from the thicket is a long neck dinosaur, and you see that he's chewing on some leaves, and his head's towering above you. You don't even see its body as its head towers above you, and it just looks around, minding its own business, just chewing away.
Yeah, don't move. Sid? It's a dream. Yeah, me neither.
You see Wilfray yell across in a soft but tone just loud enough for you to hear across the river. He goes, "They're harmless. There are worse ones about. Just mind your business. Leave it alone."
Okay. Bridge is safe. Come on over.
And you see the dinosaur look at you as you yell back over. It just stares at you.
Bye. And I just walk slowly away in the other direction.
And slowly turns its head and begins to travel south in the other direction from you as you leave it alone. Wilfray looks at the group and goes, "Who's next? Maybe we should get the shipment over. Something tells me we should probably get the heaviest thing over next. What do you guys think?"
Yeah, that probably sounds great. Who is carrying it, by the way?
The Dread.
Okay.
Dread, you're up, bud. And you see the suit of armor gives a look and begins to walk over very slowly, maintaining its weight, avoids the cracked wood panel on the bridge, and makes it to the other side. And Wolfray looks at the last three, Zith, and you and
I
Armos.
stand very awkwardly waiting for them to.
I'll go. Build up my confidence. Now that I saw the big giant dude go across.
And Armos crosses. And
Hey.
you dodge over the broken panel, and then you make it.
I don't know if I'm allowed to know this, but are you rolling something behind the screen so we don't know if something happens?
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm just curious. Like, I don't know how that works. Because I see your eyes pandered to this screen, and then you're like,
I don't know what you're talking about. Who's 3 on the D4, by the way?
Me?
That's Dan.
Does a 21 hit, Minnis,
Yeah.
as a crossbow bolt flies from above, from the northern cliff just on your left. A crossbow bolt comes and hits you, dealing.
Can I use my reaction?
You can use your reaction here of arrows of missile snaring, missile catching, gloves of missile
Gloves?
catching, gloves of missile catching. Yes, you may use your reaction here. What are you doing?
My gloves of missile snaring.
There it is. Usually, don't worry, it's just a little stroke, Dan. It's just a little stroke. Don't worry about me.
So I reduce the damage by a D10 plus my dexterity.
Okay.
That is a 14.
Ooh, you
a
catch
12.
the arrow. You catch the bolt as soon as it flies. You catch it in between your hands you didn't even realize you did it. And then you see from the northern ridge, you see like this canine creature hulking. You hear him laughing as 2 more bolts come out and shoot at you. One is going to go after Armos as he just crossed. That one is going to miss with a 2, as the third one is going to try to hit Minnis, as that one misses with an 8. And then one goes after Drell from behind. Damn, I rolled fucking 3 2s in a row. As you look above on the cliff and you see these very weird gnolls with crossbows. And they're shooting at you and laughing from the ridge, and they are high above you. Drell, the one that came from your left on the cliff, is about 120 feet above you.
Oh my God, they're ugly freaks. What is wrong with them?
Guys!
Everybody roll me initiative as you are being ambushed by these gnolls in the trees on a mountain ridge above you that is about 120 feet in the air. Everybody roll me initiative.
I got a 5.
It's a 12 for Minnis.
11.
We're going to start combat at initiative 12. Minnis, as you just caught a bolt as 2 others fly past you and Armos. Right now, across the ridge is you, Armos, and the Dread. On the other side of the rope bridge is Wolfray, Zith, and Drell. The 6 of you are getting ambushed. At the start of the round, Minnis, what are you doing?
Got new cleric stuff. Maybe I'll use that. So we have 5 around us that we can see right now.
You can see 5 around you, yes. They're all up in the cliffs, and they are shooting down at you, 100 feet away.
All right, yeah. I'm gonna look at the one to the southeast, I suppose. And I'm not even thinking really of running. How far away?
15 feet to the cliff, 100 feet up. These are very steep
Yeah.
cliffs, very flat. You do
Gotcha.
see that there's foliage on the side of the cliffs, like vines. You probably could climb them if you tried.
Wow, I have a spell attack that actually reaches.
Wow.
Laura, my goddess, protect you, I promise. Ah! I pull my feather out and point it at the knoll that's at the southeast up on the cliff. And I'm gonna just throw a guiding bolt over at this knoll thing.
Wow, guiding bolt. That's a new cleric ability, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a 13 to hit. Not great.
That will miss
Yeah.
as you see whizzes by him.
That's rough. Whoops. Sorry. Don't mind that. Ignore that. That was an accident. And used all my new cleric stuff. So I missed that. I'm like, yeah, come on, work. And I'm slapping the feather. And then I'm going to bonus action go invisible and be like, guys, run. And start running forward.
Okay, you start to run, and is that the end of your initiative?
Yeah.
We're going to move to initiative 11, which is Armos and one of the gnolls. Player goes first. Armos, what are you doing as you are being ambushed by these gnolls from atop the cliffs?
There's 4 up on the cliffs, and there's 1 to my south. Correct.
Yes, that is also on a cliff.
Do any of them stand out more than another?
Make me an insight check.
15.
Yeah, there is one on top of the cliff on the left side that looks bigger than the rest from this angle. You are 100 feet below, but you do see a hulking one.
Okay.
It looks like he has a banner on his back.
Okay. We're gonna all the ones up on the top of the cliff. We're gonna do Sickening Radiance to hit almost all of them.
Yeah, nope, that'll hit the 4 of them on that cliff. Yeah.
Oh my god, it does hit all of them. Holy shit. Okay, so Sickening Radiance. So they have to do a Constitution saving throw of 17.
A new charisma bonus.
16.
Hey.
And all of them in the circle failed. How much damage are they taking?
They take 18, but that circle is stays there.
You notice that when you cast Sickening Radiance, you see a lot more of these hyena gnolls cough, and there's a bunch more hidden within the brush on top of the cliff, and they have axes and these makeshift bone spears and bone swords, and they're coughing, and you thought you were hitting 5, you really hit 10 of them as they're all coughing, and you see a couple of them die and fall down the cliff. Let's see how many die. You see these 8 gnolls tumble as they fall down the cliff.
Jeez.
And they're like, and they die, and you see the eyes roll to the back of their head. And then you see the one that's still standing, the leader, so to speak, is like getting angry and more angry, and begins to seethe at the mouth. He was affected. How much? It did 18 points of damage, right?
And also suffers 1 exhaustion.
That's really nice.
So what else are you doing?
I'm gonna get behind the big guy that I'm next to, in between. So I'm gonna put me, big guy carrying
The dread?
Yeah, the dread, and the gnoll that's up on the top of the thing to brace for retaliation.
Staying on initiative 11, you see the one at the top of the hill let out a giant shriek as it echoes through the trees, and you see the birds fly away in the distance, and then you hear a lot of growls and they're angry canine sounds, and then you see the bodies shift on the floor in front of you. The 9 that you killed begin to twitch and snarl and howl as blood leaks from their mouth, as they seem to be popping and locking, as they seem to pop and mutate in the spies. They begin to get back up. You see that he is inciting a rampage to these dead gnolls on the floor that seem to come back up as they are now seething, almost zombified. You see that the gnolls on the floor, their eyes have rolled to the back of their head. You just see the white of their eyes as blood and saliva fall from their mouth. And we're gonna move to initiative 10, which is the gnolls, as they begin to run forward towards Minnis, the Dread, and Armos.
They run to me. They know I'm there, even though I'm invisible.
Oh, are you invisible?
Yeah.
I'm mistaken.
Yeah,
Oh wait,
he
let
said he
me
went
see something right
invisible.
here. You're lucky. They only have dark vision. They don't have keen smell. My mistake. I missed that. You see but you also sold out Armos.
Well, yeah.
So you see these 9 gnolls seething at the mouth, rampaging, run towards Armos and the Dread, as 4 of them gang up on the Dread and the other 4 gang up on Armos, as they swarm like a pack of wolves making attacks. We'll start off with Armos. 4 of them are going to make attacks against you. 18, 16, a 13, and a 13.
Those all hit.
13's hit. Dan.
No.
You take 23 points of piercing damage as they bite, snarl, and slash you up.
Okay.
You see that the other 4 are trying to chomp down on the Dread, but the Dread is actually moving very quick despite holding such large weight. And you see that he's using a reaction, and he kicks one of them away in Minnis' direction. He kicks him 10 feet back as he delivers like a swift kick to one of the Gnoll's chests, and he goes backwards, and the Gnoll gets back up to go charge him. While on initiative 10, there are 2 behind Drell, Zith, and Wolfrey on the other side, and they are shooting crossbow bolts at them. One is going to go towards Drell. Ooh, with a 24 to hit.
That'll hit.
And it's going to do 3 points of piercing damage and an additional.
Now I know why he gave us the temp HP.
5 points of poison damage, and make me a Constitution saving throw as you are hit with a poison bolt.
It's a nat fucking 20.
Ooh, you are not poisoned.
Second one of the episode.
Wow.
Bring it on.
The other one is going to hit Wolfrey. Ooh, we rolled a 5. That one is going to miss. And you see those 2 slide down the mountain as their movement. Since they're falling, you see that the 2 Gnolls that shot the crossbow bolts at you reach where you are as they slide down the cliff. And we're going to go to initiative 5, which is Drell.
Okay, so I'm going to look at Wilfred and Zith and just say, you don't mind if I go first, right? And I'm just going to run across the bridge. So I make it.
So there is a Gnoll standing in your path.
Well, as I run up to him, can I just hit him?
Sure
to move
can.
him out of the, sweet. That's what I was going to do anyways. All right. So that is oh my God. Only a 19 to hit.
Only a 19. Yeah, you hit him.
It was almost a 28. That's why I say that. Oh, and after being hit with an arrow, I definitely go into a rage. So that is, so much better. That's 17 damage on the first attack.
Dead. As you put your, using your axe or your hammer?
I'm using the Dwarven Thrower right now.
You boom as you knock away the first Gnoll that's blocking your path. And we'll say with the rest of your movement, you're able to make it off the bridge as you kill one of the Gnolls that were rampaging.
And then, so I like to imagine it. I run across the bridge, and as I cock back my Dwarven Thrower, I yell mountaintop, and I just hit him as hard as I can. And then I'm gonna throw my hammer at one of the other Gnolls next to Armos as my second attack, and that is a 24 to hit.
That hits.
Dealing 14 damage.
Dead. You see that the hammer hits him and he falls back into the river as the hammer comes back to you.
And I think for now that is going to be my turn.
Okay. We're going to move to initiative 4, which are your 3 companions. As Wolfrey sees you run across the bridge, he's like, well, I guess we got to get moving at some point. And he looks at Zith, and Zith goes, hey, would you take care of the 2 behind us? I'll take care of the ones across the bridge. And you see that he draws his sword, very nice long sword, and then he holds his other hand up, and it begins to swirl with magic, and he casts Magic Missile.
This is Wilfred doing this?
Yes.
Okay.
You see that Wolfrey lifts his hand and he casts Magic Missile at 2nd level, shooting out 4 bolts, hitting different gnomes, and you see that he takes out the one next to Armos. He takes out the one that just fell down more north to you, closer to Minnis, and he takes out another one next to the Dread, and another one hits one of the leaders up top, doing a little bit more damage, and he gets ready to cross the bridge. Zith is going to go as he heads southward to take care of the other 2 Gnolls. And you see that he takes out 2 of these short swords, and he moves like a rogue. And he starts slashing up one of the Gnolls. I don't want to reveal how much that he did. A lot of damage. Let's just say that he did 34 points of damage as he's like weaving in and out, slicing them up with the short swords. And you see the Gnoll drop, and then a few seconds later, the Gnoll's eyes roll to the back of its head and lunge back up, getting ready to attack him. And then we're going to move to the Dread. Armos, in front of you, you see the Dread getting ready to fight. He puts his hands out. He doesn't have any weapons on him. You just see the suit of armor with these green flame eyes, and then you see from his hand a green flame blade come out. It overcomes his gauntlet. The green flame takes the shape of a blade over his hand, and he begins to attack. You see that he attacks the Gnoll on the right, and you see he slices up 2 of them, killing 2 of the Gnolls. And we're gonna go back to the top of the round. Initiative 12, Minnis.
I guess I'll just I'll pop back out. I'll be like, all right, Sid. One more time, poof, and I'll go poof again then with a bonus action, and then I'll attack this Gnoll at the top of the bridge with a Third level. We'll try a third level guiding bolt.
Okay. Does invisibility pop you back out at the beginning of your turn? Is that the wording?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you go back invisible and you cast a third level guiding bolt.
And that's going to be a 24 to hit.
Yeah, that's gonna hit.
I lost track of it. There it is. So I'm going to hit this gnoll, this big gnoll at the top with 23 radiant damage.
You see as the radiant damage smacks into him, he lets out a harsh shriek of pain. And then you see his eyes glow red as he's getting really angry. Blood drips from his nose. What else you doing?
And I'm just talking to myself in my invisible form like, thank you, Melora, thank you, Melora, thank you, Melora, this is awesome. That ends my turn.
We're gonna move to initiative 11. Armos, you and the alleged leader.
So that's these other two are gone on my left and my right.
No, they're there. The leader, the bigger Gnoll, also goes on initiative 11.
I'm gonna just Eldritch Blast. Yeah.
Sure, who you Eldritch blasting?
Yeah, I'll just hit all three on that dude. 16.
A 16 will hit.
Woo. 338 damage.
Dead as you see the is that how many Eldritch Blasts was that? Was that all three? Oh
Yep.
my God. Okay. Yep. So all three Eldritch Blasts fly from your palm as you shoot at the leader. As the leader gets hit, falls down, and then you see just as his tribe before him, his troop, he rises back up, completely salivating. Jeez. His saliva is completely blood. You see his jaws unhinged and he is snarling and he looks like he's about to dash towards you. What else are you doing?
So I knocked him back 3 times. So he's gonna have to dash a little bit further to get to me. Don't forget. And then while that's happening, I'm gonna stick put and still concentrate on my radiance so that he takes damage on his turn.
Oh yeah. So yeah, he did get knocked back 30 feet instead. So he doesn't fall down the cliff, but he does get back up and looks like he's about to charge. And how much radiant damage does he take?
I think he has to do another Constitution saving throw.
Another con save. Oh, we can do that. We do those. He just critted.
Ooh.
Does he take half damage?
He doesn't take any.
Okay, so staying on initiative 11 is this pack leader as he begins to charge towards the cliff edge and begins to slide down in a rampage. So he's going to use his full movement to make it to the base as we move to initiative 10, which are the rampaging gnolls. And one of the gnolls on top of the cliff. We're going to do the healthy gnoll to your south from the cliff. He's going to shoot a crossbow bolt at you.
When you say you.
Oh, Armos. That's going to miss with a 9. And then he's going to slide down. That's going to be his turn. And then the rampaging gnoll to the left of you, next to the dread, is going to attack the dread. So he attacks the dread, and that one misses.
Is he within 5 feet of me?
Yep.
Then I would like to wink at the dread and say sentinel attack. And I would like to use my reaction to wail on the gnoll as a reaction and hit him.
Sure.
That is a 23 to hit.
Hit.
18 damage.
Dead. You just bonk him on the hammer on initiative 10 as a reaction, and he falls. From over the bridge, you do see the Zith, the drow elf, take some attacks with like this bone makeshift glaive, but he's still holding his own. And then we're going to move to initiative 5, which is Drell.
Okay, I am going to make my way over to the leader of the pack and throw my hammer at him as I'm running towards him. So that is, I'll just tell Armos, I'll be right back. That is 23 to hit.
That hits.
That is not good. 11 damage.
Dead. You throw the hammer at him as you're running to him and bonks him on head, and he just falls.
Cool.
Slides on his face towards you. With the death of the leader, you see that the other ones begin to turn tail and run instantly.
No.
Well, we should have done that to begin with, I guess.
I try to pick them off as they're running away with my Eldritch Blast from 300 range, from whatever I can see that isn't taken away with the bushes.
You notice that you're able to actually handle these gnolls with ease, especially the more that die off, the easier it is. And I'm going to say that you're able to pick them off with your Eldritch Blast. And as you pick off the 3 that are running away, You turn around and you see the dread, and he is looking at you, stone faced, but he's leering at you, and you see his fiery eyes ignite brighter. You see Reginald go, what are you looking at? And he is staring you down, and he is walking closer to you with his green flame blade ignited over his iron gauntlet.
As I'm glaring back at this thing trying to stare me down, I'm like, Wilfred, come get your boy.
As you yell over the bridge, you see Wilfred watching what's going on, and you see that he begins to move with a little pep in his step, and he looks a little worried. You turn around. I'm going to need you to make me a contested strength check, as you are now trying to be pinned from the dread as he tries to slam you to the floor.
Anything but strength.
Good at those.
Anything but strength. 4.
With a 15, as you turn around, he like picks you up from your throat and slams you down, and he holds the green flame blade to, like, as if he's going to your throat. He's like examining you, and you see Reginald gets tumbled off. He goes, "Whoa, what?" And he's like, "Oh, her, what gives?" And you see that his fire underneath his visor is igniting, and you see Wilfred trying to run over to the situation to try to address the situation as he's running over the bridge, and Zith following.
I throw my hammer at him.
Roll a hit.
It's 25.
Ooh, a 25. You see that as you go to throw the hammer, he snaps to the hammer almost as he was expecting it, as he hears it throw up, and he goes to raise his hand, and you see that his armor shine, like arcane energy comes over as if he's casting a spell on himself, but it's just not strong enough. As you hit him with the hammer, and he gets knocked off, and he rolls next to Armos onto the floor. How much damage are you dealing?
That is going to be 19 damage.
You hear the cracking of his armor as he goes to roll over, and he tries to get back up, and he's just a little bit slower because he's holding the giant case on his back, and he scrambles, he looks like he's trying to go back in Armos. And as he going back to Armos, you see Wolfrey runs over the bridge, and he tries to get between you, and he goes, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa," and he looks at Dread. He goes, "Whoa, easy, hot fella, easy." And he's like trying to calm him down. And you see the Dread is like trying to fake out Wilfrey, like trying to get around him, but he's staring at you.
I'm a chilling touch, just ready to go. Just ready to put this dude straight up in his face.
Reginald's hair sticking up on the back of his neck. Get him, Armos, get him. You will take that.
I guess Drell yells, Wilfred, what is going on with your boy?
I may have misjudged the wizard aspect of you. And he notices that when you cast his Eldritch Blast, he goes, "Didn't realize you were a warlock. Dabbled in the demonic arts." And you see he's holding the Dread back. The Dread doesn't want to hurt Wilfrey or Zith. And you even see he's not even focused on Drell, who just hit him with the hammer.
Mm-hmm. They'll do it again, too.
Hold on. And he's like trying to calm down Dread, and he looks at you. He goes, he doesn't like those who study the demonic arts. He ran into a bit of a fanatic group several years back that kind of put him in the position he's in today.
And I'm just getting ready to cast like the biggest spell that I know at this point, and I'm not even listening to him. I'm just you know what I mean, saying the words to get ready to cast something crazy.
He's talking. Can I make an insight check on like what he's talking about?
On Wilfrey? Yeah, absolutely.
No, yeah, to see what he like. Or I pretty much want to make sure he's talking about the Red Dawn. Is like what I'm. So what would that be? Like
it would be an insight check.
That's just an 11.
You don't know who he's talking about. With an 11, though, you know he's being honest with his words.
Armos, I don't know if you want to like lead what's going on right now.
Blow this guy up.
We don't need to go that far. We're all friends here. It's just a big misunderstanding.
You're right. There's a nice lake or a nice little river right there that this guy can cool off in. Just let me just give him a good, nice little shove real quick.
And that river couldn't quench these flames, I'll tell you.
Minnis finally comes over. Did I miss the hug? Did I miss the? You guys were hugging, right? That was like a good job. What's going on?
You see Zith interjects, and he goes towards you, Armos, and he's talking to the group. He goes, "Well, our friend here well, we met him like this, but we learned that he really can't talk. But that's mainly because we don't speak his language. He can understand us, but we can't understand him.
Oh,
He is essentially bound to that armor. Several years ago, and we meet several, upwards of a century, so to speak. Well, there was a fanatic group. Maybe you know them. We got a couple of fanatical Red Dawn cultists that have been reemerging. Well, that was the group that put him in this position. They essentially trapped him inside this suit of armor, and he escaped. But he does not like those who study the demonic arts. So seeing Buddy there, your red horn buddy here, cast those unsavory spells, well, he set him off.
Well, we've been killing a bunch of Red Dawn cultist members, so, I mean, he's got the wrong guy. I mean, yeah, sure, Armos,
Persuasion check.
I'm not very good at persuasion, but that's, fuck. I'm gonna roll a luck point and try to re-roll this.
Okay.
I get to use the higher number, right?
yeah.
Yeah, you get to use the higher number.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just a 10 then. I don't want to burn through a bunch of them.
You see the dread look at you, and you can't read his expression because he just doesn't have any. It's just a metal visor, and then he looks at Armos, and the way he's moving is like he's on edge, like he's still ready to attack, but he's not trying to get past Wolfrey anymore.
Armos being pissed and hearing that, oh, you can't understand his language, and I cast Comprehend Languages. And then I cuss him out in his own fucking language. No, I can't. I can only. I think I can only understand. I don't know if I can talk. I can't speak it, but
you could hear.
You approach him and you cast this spell, Comprehend Languages, as Reginald, almost acting as an arcane focus for you, begins to glow in his red eyes for a moment. And then you can understand the flames, and you hear flames underneath the armor in a rhythmic sense. He begins to burn, but the burns sound like they're trying to speak. They sound like soft screams, as if somebody is on fire. Very painful. And then you see that the flames within the visor begin to quench a bit as he feels understood for the first time. And you see that his flame blade retracts, and then he speaks to you, but he doesn't speak like a normal conversation, but he is speaking elemental. And you get these visages of somebody who was taken away, kidnapped. Then you see visions of like indentured servitude to the Red Dawn cult. And then you see him strapped to a table, to a very strange device, as if this device was trying to rip the soul from his body, and then being placed into a suit of armor. And then you see that through his eyes, through the POV of this metal visor, and your eyes begin to burn yourself. But you're not taking any damage here, but you feel like your eyes are burning as you're seeing through him. And you see him in this room, this dark cobble and black marble room with rows and rows of suits of armor that look just like him, but they are empty. They don't have these green flames behind the visors just yet, but there are rows and rows of this suits of armor that look just like him. And deep in the distance, you see multiple of these suits of armor that resemble the Revenger towering over him. And you see that, like, as he turns, it's just more people lined up to go through the same ritualistic sacrifice that he just went through. And then you see another vision of him escaping, and this is how he's talking to you. Elementals don't speak in words, so how you're comprehending this is very weird, but you feel like you're seeing what he's seeing in such detail through Reginald.
Ask his name.
It's the Dread.
He does refer to himself as the Dread, and it seems like it's a self-proclaimed name that he gave himself as a way to incite revenge on his enemies.
do I see what race he was before?
No, you don't, because you saw everything through his perspective.
Seeing all that, I shake it off, and I'm no longer mad at him. I'm just mad about the whole situation. I need to blow off some steam. So I throw like a Eldritch Blast at a tree and blow it up, and then I reach down to like grab his, like help him up, or like, you know what I mean, kind of like grab each other's like forearm Is just be like,
Yeah, you give like a Spartan shake. Yeah, okay. You want to show him some.
there you go. There you go.
So show him some respect, and you see that he accepts it, and his flames go back to normal. His fiery gaze, and Wolfray is like, "We all good? You all good, bud?"
Armos just nods. We sit for a second, and then see what the dread does.
The 6 of you gather your bearings, and after some time, it's taking a 5-minute breather after killing the gnolls. The 6 of you continue on your way, and you see that the dread doesn't look at you hostilely, and you see that he does occasionally gaze at your fellow AshBorn on your hip, the lantern, but you get the sense that he doesn't seem hostile towards you anymore. Understanding him seems like it really meant a lot to him. And the 6 of you go on. And you travel through the jungle. As you approach your destination, you occasionally find the stagnant gnoll. There are gnolls surrounding the jungle, but you do take out the occasional gnoll, and they are becoming more and more like heavily armored, but they're still pretty weak, but they have like all this bone armor on, as if they're a part of the same tribe. You're starting to see a uniform between them. And then you start to veer off the path, and Wolfray goes, okay, it's this way. And he takes out one of his swords, and he begins to cut through. Everybody roll me a perception check as he takes out his sword and begins to slash through trees.
10.
Dirty 20.
23.
23.
Ooh.
Armos and Drell, you notice that the blade he's using is socketed with a blood shard, and he begins to hack away, and it doesn't seem to shine, but you definitely see it in the hilt.
Armos cannot stop staring at it now.
You travel through, and you also see these giant insects now that you're traveling through the bushes. Large centipedes, modest-sized spiders, and other giant bugs like roaches. You see these flies. Everything seems bigger here. Very prehistoric. And then you see a cave. But the cave looks very ominous. Matter of fact, to get to the cave, you have to go through one of these giant trees with a hole that's been eroded away.
The redwoods?
Yeah, you go inside one of the redwoods, but inside there are all these mangled roots. And then it goes through to almost like an alcove. And you see all these trees and foliage and trees ascending up a mountain. It feels like you're outside, but also inside at the same time. And then you see a cave, and the cave has all this dried up blood on the outside, and there is this giant bestial skull sitting at the top of it, showing a very dark cave, and you see these shamanistic type totems. And Wolfray looks back at you and he goes, well, this is supposedly the tomb of Yanagu, which is the Gnoll god. Anyone care to go in first? And that is where we'll end this week's session.
Nose goes.
Nose goes.
Not it.
That looks sick, Reginald yells out to the bone entrance.
Yeah, I think this is where the god's buried, and it's this. Nah, this is grandma that bakes the cookies really well for the entire island. She's really good. And
when I revealed the cave entrance, I just saw Dan's face go, giving him, yeah.
That looks evil.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Just a little tiny bit.
Tad.
I could be wrong.
I can't wait till we talk in the after show. I got some.
Yeah, a lot happened. I'm excited. And
Yeah,
we have
juice.
a Bloodshard Bandit Patreon supporter in this episode.
The Dread.
The
He almost-
Dread.
You almost
Thank
got.
you for joining us on this journey, The Dread.
Woo! You almost got.
You know what's crazy?
You almost got
is
wrecked.
They even knew that was their person before we did.
I knew,
They heard
actually.
it last episode.
Oh, you did?
Way to go, Dan. Way to ruin
Wow.
it.
Wait, you knew?
I do the Patreon shout out, so I didn't want to ruin it for these guys, so I was just kind of sitting
This is Benjamin's. Well, we'll leave his last name out because that's how Patreon gives it to us. But this is Benjamin's NPC, and he's one of the people I've been waiting a long time. And I was like, I know the perfect spot to put him. He's just gonna have to sit tight for a little bit. But yeah,
You almost got taken out
Yeah,
real quick.
So much to talk about in the after show.
yeah.
So much. It's
Here
going
we
to be
go.
good.
Can't wait. Recommendations? Anybody?
Oh,
got one?
recommendations. I watched a movie last night. it was a military movie. I don't know what it is with me recently. I'm like really into rom-coms and militainment. So I've just been watching like all these army movies for some reason. I don't know. They just have my attention.
Romantic army movies.
Romantic army movies. Dear John.
Dear John. That's the only one I know.
I love like weird concept movies. Like, oh, there's a whole horror movie about the game Truth or Dare. So there's a movie called The Wall, and it has John Cena in it. And it's basically two army snipers that they're sent on a mission to like this oil rig, and the sniper like took out the oil rig, and the main character and John Cena get pinned by an enemy sniper behind a wall. And the whole movie only has three actors in it. But it's like the main character like can't move from like this broken wall because the sniper has him pinned down. And it's like he's able to talk to the sniper because the sniper like hacked his comms. So it's just them like trying to outsmart each other and try to figure out where the enemy sniper is while he's pinned down behind this wall, and John Cena's there.
John Cena's there.
It's cool. It's a solid movie. It's not fantastic. It's solid. It's a solid movie. It's on Amazon Prime.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's old, but I mean, if we're just plugging military movies and shows, Band of Brothers is always good. If you haven't seen it, it's like I don't even know how many episodes it is. I just know it was 10 discs back in the day.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it's like a World War II story about like a certain company that goes through Europe as they fight in World War II. It's pretty good. It's got the guy from Billions in it. So he's always a good actor. He's also in Homeland, I think it is, right? No, it's I don't know. I forget his name. But yeah.
But if we're shouting out John Cena, then you should go watch Peacemaker.
I was about to say this, just took it from me.
So I
Beat me
mean,
to it.
or Trainwreck. One of I quote it all the time. The scene with Amy Schumer and John Cena in the movie theater, I love it so much. If you haven't seen it, go Google it. Guarantee you'll laugh.
Yeah. Actually, it's Damian Lewis is who I was thinking of. Tons of people in that too. Donnie Wahlberg's in it. Ron Livingston, Scott Grimes, Tom Hanks, the guy from Friends. What's his name?
I have another great movie, but I think we should save it for the after show. That's like great military.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Because
We gave our recommendations.
Yeah, we got some solid ones in there. In there.
Everyone, appreciate you hanging in with us, and yeah, what a time. That's pretty good. Enjoyed, but see you guys next time. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Pepto-Bismuth. All right, bye. Hello and welcome to the Patreon Parables. First up is Benjamin Hayes, or should I say, the Dread. Donned in heavy plate, his emerald flame heats the metal. Water droplets evaporate the instant they fall upon his iron shell. As his party approaches a cave, the Dread stares menacingly at one tiefling who walks close behind him. Dylan Snyder is next, or should I say Reese the Bard. After leaving Holbeck, this Eladrin wrote wonderful tales of his time spent betting on games of Rocket Boot League. His favorite tune tells tale of a jazzy player named Jackalee Myers who led his team, the Orkland Badgers, to victory. Julius Kendrick still lurks in the shadows. An elderly groundskeeper walks in the Moonbeam Cemetery to take over the late-night watch. As the man walks, he realizes tombstones have been knocked over and graves have been dug up. Now running, he makes his way up a watchtower to find the previous worker rotting, dead with necrotic energy. Before he can scream, the man feels a hand cover his mouth and a dagger poke at his throat. "Show me to King's Tomb," demands Julius Kendrick. Speaking of the dead, Reigns is next. Too soon? Anyways, his family's grieving over the loss of their beloved scientist. As his mother weeps by her bedroom window, she holds tight to Reigns' name tag when bang! Something hits the door leading out to the balcony. She screams and jolts her head up to see a webbed claw leaning against the glass with red eyes peering through the dark. But on to happier patrons. Alara Dawnstar has fixed the roof, replaced the giant iron doors, and restored every stained glass window in the Temple of Scareus. She feels pretty proud of her BAM! A noise can be heard from the central hall where the purified Acryla shard resides. What is happening with our patrons this week? Captain Scarrow walks with heavy boots down the starboard side of his ship. Nothing can be heard but the waves beneath his feet and a slight breeze across the sail. His hand is held high above his head, stiff as a plank. Fog surrounds him and his mates, but this is exactly as he planned. They break through the fog to find a smaller ship sailing half a mile west. Thrusting his hand down, Scarrow shouts, "Fire!" Rumors grow within the murky forest of Riverwood. Our new protector branches out to new biomes with green intentions along with growing expectations. The Woodland Woad seeks to connect the forests of Humbrea. And last but not least is Scout. The Hydra Guild is a world-renowned monster hunter guild, well known for tackling big beasts and bringing home bigger trophies. Scout starts his journey by tracking their first fearsome foe. Will he make a name for himself, or will he come back with his tail between his legs? Only one way will tell, and both paths start with a draw of his bowstring. Now it's time for the Sidja College alumni. Andrew Hall starts us off. Quick question. Say someone got trapped in a tarot card. In fact, let's just say, theoretically speaking, 10 wizard students got trapped inside 10 tarot cards and are now fighting with the magical creatures that have come alive within the paper. How would you go and get them out? Asking for a friend, of course. Artemis is next, and his lessons at the Kambuki Isles have been going very well. He misses the Sidja College, of course, but this work is important to him. Now that the anti-bullying classes have been so successful, it is time to move on to his next lecture, Fighting Pit Combat 101. Sly slinks stealthily into the next spot. Guards rush past an alleyway with clanking, armored footsteps. After a moment, a half-elf pokes their head out of a barrel. They toss their cloak aside and shift forms, now taking the appearance of an orc. Sly grabs a wheelbarrow and blends back into the crowd. Sacagawea is next to the Centaur Trackstar. He just got back from Holbeck, where he got to see his favorite RBL team, the Holbeck Hydras, play against their rivals, the Orkland Badgers. Unfortunately, they lost 2-3. Fortunately, Jacqueline Myers from the opposing team did really well and won Sacagawea his Rocket Boot Fantasy League matchup. Patrick Wennerstrom, aka Punk, has been making his new neighbors furious. Apparently, this Shadow Elf rogue bard loves practicing the drums till 3 in the morning. One neighbor came to complain, but he was left so mentally scarred by Punk's vicious mockery, he had to move his family to Dillmore. Robert Crisp is back. He wakes to a horde of people standing over him. The doctor tells him he has been in a brief coma, but everything is okay now that he's woken up. Robert tells the doctor he had a terrible dream that a tiny bread village he was studying got eaten up by some jerk named Warden. The doctor looks blankly at Mr. Crisp. Yeah, about that. St. Chaos sits alone in prison. His antics have gotten so out of hand that even the other prison mates won't talk to him. He was able to steal a quill and some paper, but struggles to get many words on the page. The only words so far at the top of the parchment are, "Dear Artemis." And now on to Humbrea's heroes. Abdulrahman is working on a new potion called Anti-Theft Elixir. Hopefully the effects aren't too aggressive. Elijah Vega, aka Nefarious Ducarius, has just started working on a new bodybuilding routine that focuses on beauty muscles. He heard stories of a Goliath with glutes so thick they split a kraken in half. Man with Glass is not accepting carrier pigeons at this time. He's taking a mental health month to mourn the loss of his masterpiece. Sergio Rodriguez has reached his quota for Bloodshards this month and is being promoted to head guard of the most southern watchtower. Terminal No Name has stepped down from Holbeck Hydras as a player to focus on growing the league as its founder. A famous bard named Baylor Thrift is dating one of the players, so he is trying to take advantage of the new fans. Captain Dandelion is training to become a great thief so that he may someday compete with the likes of shape-shifting Sly. Odumel has just finished healing the last survivors in Dillmore and is now on her way back home. Johnny Tar is currently training in Gilo to be a great fighter, but what kind of fighter will he become? Caleb Schneider has just slayed another Lycan. It was the jazziest battle of his life. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of our Patreon shoutouts. If you would like to see your name read here and support the podcast, please head on over to patreon.com/DND404. That's patreon.com/DND404. See you next time.